Does even the thought of traveling make you anxious? From booking flights to deciding to pack carry on only or check your bag, to going through airport security, not to mention those long flights and then getting to and from your hotel. I haven't even begun to mention getting out and exploring the city or town once you arrive at your destination. That brings on a whole new level of anxiousness. Am I right? Even while I say this, my hands are sweating thinking about everything that has to go just right to be able to have a smooth trip. If you're like many anxious adventurers out there, you have a deep desire to travel, but probably just gave up when I mentioned booking a flight. I know I am right there with you. I often opt to drive for that exact reason because at least that way I can control my time. But if you want to go to other countries, driving is not always an option. What if I told you, though, that there is a better way to handle this stress and anxiety, and it actually comes right from Mother Earth? Have I piqued your curiosity? I hope so. Join me today as we learn about a tool you can easily use and incorporate on your next travel adventure. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Welcome to the Anxious Adventurer podcast. I'm Katie Schlegel, your host. I've traveled to a lot of places around this beautiful planet, seen so many jaw-dropping sights, and I've met some pretty amazing human beings along the way. Now, if you don't know this yet, I'm an anxious adventurer. If you're wondering what an anxious adventurer even means, well, to put it quite simply, it means that when I travel, I can get anxious or stressed out maybe a little easier or more often than the average person. However, over my many years of traveling, I've learned to tap into something special that makes traveling so much easier and more fun. That is, my intuition. And the more I've learned to trust my gut during my travels, the more synchronistic, amazing, and even healing my travel experiences have been. If you're new around here, I'm assuming you found this podcast because of the name, because you too are an anxious adventurer. So welcome. This is a safe place to be yourself. My hope is that you use these travel stories, experiences, tips, and tools as a way to help you tap into your intuition so that you too can be swept off into this wonderful world that traveling can open up for you. Traveling can be so healing for people like us if you have the tools and understanding for it to be so. And the good news is, you don't have to do this alone. I'm here to be your guide and to help you on your path to healing your anxiousness and stress around traveling. So get ready to fill up your cup with magical moments where you find out that this world really is a friendly place. You just have to change the way you look at it, follow your gut, and step out your door. And don't you worry, I am right here beside you. Did you know you can use crystals for travel stress and anxiety? It's true. And in today's episode, I'm going to share with you simple ways to do just that and my top 3 crystal choices for traveling. Whether you believe in the energy of crystals or not, people can't help but be drawn to them. They are natural and from Mother Earth, and I believe have been put on this earth for a reason, to help us humans out. Whether it be for getting grounded after being jet-lagged or needing that pep put back in your step before, after, or during your trip, to calming your mind down after a long day of traveling, to feeling protected and safe. Using crystals is an easy, fun way to help you feel more calm, collected, and protected during your travels. But what crystals are good for traveling? There are so many, it can be overwhelming. Well, I'm here to be your guide and help you select the perfect crystals for traveling. Now, if you run to Google and start typing in best crystals for travel, you're going to get a plethora of photos, blog posts, and information telling you all sorts of different crystals to use, which can be super confusing, not to mention overwhelming. I wanted to cut through the noise and help you pick the perfect one or ones for you. But before I tell you the what of it, I want to tell you the how of it and why crystals work so well with our bodies. Caution, I'm about to get super nerdy up in here. Nikola Tesla, who did so much of his work and research in clear quartz, said this about crystals. In a crystal, we have clear evidence of the existence of a formative life principle. And though we cannot understand the life of a crystal, it is nonetheless a living being. When I started really getting interested in minerals and crystals, I wanted to understand the science behind them too. I knew they were helping me feel better, but I didn't understand why they were helping me feel better. So I enrolled in a certification course, and now I'm proud to say that I am a certified master crystal healer, which means I've spent a lot of time working with and researching crystals. I was taught by a woman who had a master's in science, so I've done a lot of research and absorbed a lot of information about crystals and how they work with our energy body and our physical body. Did you know we're electrical beings? Electricity is everywhere, even in our bodies. For example, our cells are specialized to conduct electrical currents. Did you know that electricity is required for our nervous system to send signals throughout the body and to the brain? This makes it possible for us to move, think, and feel. Crystals can be used as tools and ways to support you. Just like taking your vitamins and minerals can support your overall health and well-being, so can crystals. I know, I'm getting a little woo-woo, but just stick with me here. Crystals allow us to change frequencies, creating more of what we're needing in that moment for emotional and physical healing and well-being. So I'm sure you're saying right now, okay, Katie, get on with it. Tell me about the crystals I can use for travel already. All right, let's get into those. These 3 crystals I'm going to be talking about in this episode are my go-to tried and true ones that I've been using on many of my recent travels. The first crystal I recommend is called lepidolite. Lepidolite is a beautiful light purple stone that has a very calming energy. This is my go-to for calming my mind and body from stress and anxiety because it contains lithium. You may be saying, okay, awesome, but what does that mean? Well, lithium is great for balancing your brain chemistry, and it has a calming effect on your entire body. Now, with that being said, the alkali metal lithium can be used as a mood stabilizer. It may help you in changing the release of chemicals like dopamine and serotonin in your brain. I'm sure you've heard of those chemicals, right? But how does lepidolite help with your travel stress and anxiety? Well, since lithium is found in lepidolite, what using a lepidolite crystal can do is help entrain the lithium you already have in your body so you can be more of a vibrational match to being more calm and have more control over your emotions and feelings, creating that more relaxed feeling in your body. One way you can use lepidolite is on your third eye to help calm your brain. This is a great practice to do before you go to bed at night. Lepidolite will help calm the chattering mind, bringing a sense of peace to your entire body. Here's a little guidance on how to do just that. Find a quiet place to be by yourself. Turn off all the lights and anything that may distract you, like the notifications from your phone. Lie down in a comfortable place, such as a bed or couch. Place a piece of lepidolite on your third eye, in the middle of your forehead, slightly above your eyebrows. Close your eyes. Relax your body, starting from your feet, sweeping over your entire body up to your head. Take several deep breaths in and out. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, and lie there for about a minute with the lepidolite on your third eye. Once the minute has passed, open your eyes. Do this every day and you will start to feel your brain calming down more easily. You can even increase the time if you'd like. You'll be amazed at how calm and collected you'll feel once you start to do this practice. Okay, next up is black tourmaline. This one is great for feeling that sense of protection when you're traveling. It is also amazing for grounding you after that long flight, which means it will help with your jet lag. It contains silica, boron, and iron, along with other mineral inclusions. Now, I'm not saying that wearing black tourmaline will produce more of those minerals in your body. However, having this stone with these mineral inclusions definitely has a positive effect on your physical and energetic body, and you'll feel it immediately. Tourmaline is also renowned for its electric properties. When subjected to heat or pressure, it develops an electrical charge at its ends, resulting in the polarization of the crystal. This is known as pyroelectricity and piezoelectricity, which means it has made tourmaline a valuable mineral in scientific instruments as well as industrial applications. Black tourmaline isn't the prettiest in the bunch, but it does pack a powerful punch. It's also one of the best stones for absorbing that nasty electromagnetic radiation before it reaches your body, which we're constantly surrounded by, especially while traveling in those airplanes. And if you don't believe me, here's a quote from the CDC about electromagnetic radiation in airplanes. The amount or dose of radiation you get from air travel is low, but the dose depends on a few factors. These levels of radiation are small and unlikely to affect human health. The longer you are in flight, the more radiation you receive. But don't let that stop you from flying. I would say this is just a great reason to pick up some of that black tourmaline before your next trip, especially if you're sensitive to computers, cell phones, or anything really electronic. One thing I want to mention about black tourmaline, which is a little more on the metaphysical end of the spectrum, it's also known as the stone of purification. But what does that mean? Well, you can think of it in this way. It can help turn negative energy into a positive and hopeful energy. So say goodbye to those bad vibes on your next trip. All right, the final crystal I recommend to help ease travel stress and anxiety is carnelian. If you've ever experienced pure exhaustion during or after your travels, then this is the crystal for you. Carnelian is considered one of the happiest of stones, so it will not only give you a boost in energy, it will lift your spirits as well. It will also give that courageous lion you have hidden inside you a bit of a bump in the right direction, making you get up, go out, and explore. The presence of iron in carnelian's composition creates a beautiful range in colors from pale orange to deep red. Carnelian has a remarkable historical significance as well. It dates back thousands of years and has been found in archaeological sites throughout the world, such as ancient Egypt, Greece, Rome, as well as Mesopotamia. In fact, in ancient Egypt, carnelian was associated with royalty, used for protection, and even vitality. But back to why it's a good stone for travel. Well, this is where I'm going to speak a little more to the metaphysical side of things. It connects you with your first 3 chakras: your root at the base of your spine, your sacral right between your belly button and your lower belly, and your solar plexus above your belly button just below the diaphragm. So why are these 3 chakras important on your travels? Well, just like the ancient Egyptians used carnelian for vitality, and that's what you can use it for too. Carnelian is going to give you the strength, energy, confidence, and courage you'll need to venture out into the unknown. Remember that feeling of overwhelm when you travel? Well, carnelian is going to become your BFF. The best way to harness carnelian's beautiful, vibrant energy is to place a stone on your root, sacral, or solar plexus chakra, whichever chakra is feeling sluggish at the time. Try doing this before you get out of bed in the morning to get a little extra pep in your step. Think of it as your morning cup of coffee for those chakras. All right, so now that I've told you about these 3 crystals you can use to help your travel anxiety and stress, you may be wondering what's the best way to use them. Here are 3 simple and easy ways to use these crystals during your travels. 1. Carry any of these crystals in your pocket. You can select one or take all 3 with you. 2. Create a little crystal pouch or mojo protection bag, I like to call it, with all of them in it, and carry it with you in your purse or pocket. Here's a little pro tip for you. I like putting a protection mojo bag in my suitcase if I decide to check it too, so it doesn't get lost in transit. And lastly, number 3, and this is my personal preferred and favorite way to use them, is by wearing them as bracelets. You can pick up these stones almost anywhere these days. However, I have a surprise for you. I've searched high and low for some high quality beads to make travel bracelets just for the shop, and just for this reason. I couldn't find one source that I trusted where you could pick up all 3 of these stones as bracelets, so I decided to make them myself. If you're interested in one or all 3, you can find that link in the show notes. I want to start offering you tangible tools you can use in your travels, and this is one way I can combine my love for handmade fashion, crystals, and travel all into one. So I hope you'll take a moment and check them out in the shop. Now, I could have talked to you all day about the metaphysical properties of these stones, but I wanted to share some of the science behind these crystals too, because having this knowledge of knowing why they work the way they do is very empowering as well. But if you want to know more of the metaphysical and healing properties of crystals, I can absolutely do more woo-woo next time. And just a side note, you'll definitely find more of the metaphysical and healing properties information for each of the bracelets in the descriptions in the shop. I'm also looking at places to source the individual stones to recreate my little magic mojo protection bags. So let me know if that would be something you'd be interested in as well. If I've piqued your interest in crystal healing and you want to see what that's all about, I'm offering a free group healing session to anyone who's curious about crystal healing or for anyone who needs some healing right now. You can find a link in the show notes to sign up and get more information about that. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you learned some new things about crystals and maybe it even got you excited to try out these particular stones for your next trip. I put links to many of the articles I sourced much of the information from in the show notes. So if you're feeling extra nerdy, go check those out. Before I sign off, if you liked this episode or love the podcast, please drop a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. It really does help get the show out to more people, or at least that's what I'm told. And remember, if you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, I'll be sure to give you a shout out in the next episode. I also want to invite you to come on over to join my community on Instagram at Mariposas Guys. It's a really safe place where you can learn more about traveling intuitively to help ease your anxiety. You can connect with the artisans of the fashion in the shop, as well as learn all about tapping into your intuition. And if you want to be a guest on the podcast or maybe have an amazing travel story you want to tell, send an email to anxiousadventuresclub@gmail.com. I'd love to feature you here on the podcast. Okay, until next time, my dear anxious adventurers, ciao, besos. Mwah.